Hey there, this is the Erudite Brother with part 2 of The Truth Regarding Affirmative Action. I, obviously, am a black male, although I do have some other ancestry in my background, as many people of color do. Um, for instance, my grandmother on my father's side was Puerto Rican, as were her sisters and brothers. So I have some Puerto Rican ancestry. However, uh, with regards to that and native ancestry as well. Uh, in this country, in America, um, as many racist whites would say, I'm still a nigger. A nigger. Understand? I am predominantly recognized by my skin color. So for the other ignorant blacks that are on YouTube, and I can name one in particular that I'm not going to, who's extremely popular, who calls us mixed breeds. That should give you a big clue. Um, guess what? This mixed breed is still a nigger. I grew up in the hood. Okay, so let's get back to the truth regarding affirmative action. Well, guess who appears to have benefited the least regarding affirmative action? That would be black men. Black women's actually benefited tremendously. Women, once again, regarding affirmative action. Black men, not so much. Um, when I grew up, and where I grew up, in the South, Memphis, Tennessee to be precise, in the 80s as a young man, precisely, um, the Rainbow Coalition, the NAACP, Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton, all of the recognized civil rights leaders, um, they didn't do anything for me particularly, or anyone that I knew in my neighborhood. Um, on the national front, I'm sure they were helping, and I mean no disrespect to either of the gentlemen, but or their organizations. But to be frank, for me in particular, they haven't done a damn thing for me or anyone that I knew uh, in my personal life. Hasn't helped me one bit. Affirmative action also has not helped me one damn bit. Now, I'm going to show you something. Most people on YouTube probably not so personal, but I don't care. So here's a small history regarding this black male. High school diploma, pretty much useless, right? But there it is, nonetheless, for you to see. Here. High school diploma. Little one-year certificate. I went into digital imaging, as it's called, which is basically graphic design. My associate's degree. There you have it. Associate's degree. 2-year degree, liberal arts. No big deal, right? Still, it's something to pat yourself on the back for because it's an achievement. That's one thing that us blacks are not supposed to have is academic achievements, right? We're all supposed to be dumb, right? Okay, let's see here. Bachelor of Arts, International Affairs. This one here is blank, but hadn't inserted my other bachelor's. Is in economics. So I have a bachelor's of economics, a bachelor's of international affairs, an associate's degree, naturally, prior, little certificate, high school diploma, and I am now 3 classes away from my first master's degree in public administration. And yet the most money I have ever made in this country that is supposed to favor people of my color, supposed to favor black people, the most money I've ever made in this country is working 2 jobs, and I made approximately $15,000 a year. $15,000 a year. The last job that I had that lasted several years, I worked for over 9 years for the same company. I was the only person of color there for over 7 years. I was never hired into a management position, and the most I ever made was $10.30 an hour. This is once again coming from a black man who's supposed to be at an advantage over whites in this country. So, and as of now, I'm looking for work and trying to finish my first master's. Possibly a second, I don't know. But what I do know is that time is against me, and my color. My color's always been against me. My ethnicity in this country has always been an impediment to achieving excellence in this country. One could always look at people such as Barack Obama and say, well, he made it. Do you realize how many millions of black people there are in this country? And Obama made it. He's one person. I'm happy for the guy, but he's one person. One person is not indicative of an entire group of people. The fact that one person made it out and one person was able to achieve does not mean even a tenth of the people that are representative of the group will be able to achieve or will be allowed to. So, this video is basically a wake-up call to get people to understand. And I frankly don't know what I can do. I'm just being truthful to everyone here that's watching my channel. That my skin color has done a damn thing to benefit me in this country. Not a damn thing. It has given me no positives. Okay. And that's really interesting, considering affirmative action was supposed to benefit those who have been historically discriminated against. It's helped women. It certainly has. I can't speak for all black women. There are probably some black women who feel the same way that I do. I can't speak for all black women. But I can tell you overall, it's definitely affirmative action laws have definitely helped women. As a black male, they haven't helped me. Not a damn bit. Now, there are many young black men, for instance, who come up who have mentors. You've heard that word before. M-E-N-T-O-R-S. I'm not speaking of mentors as in mentos, but mentors. Guess what? That word did not even exist in the 1980s. I never heard of it. Never heard of it until over the last 10 years. A mentor. What the hell is that? Oh, okay. Guess what? It didn't exist in my time. There were no mentors. You're on your own, dude. You want to go to college, little black guy? You're on your own. You'll face discrimination, racism, ostracization. And if you make it, good. My first venture in college, I flunked out. In a big college, community college, I did all right. But for the most part, I flunked out because I had no guidance. I had no direction. I ended back in college in my late 30s, and I managed to achieve the things that I showed you, collegiate-wise. And I achieved them on my own through basically determination. But once again, no one gave a damn about helping me. No one gave a damn about mentoring me. Okay? So, that's the way it goes. black men in this country are in the condition that we're in, many of us, not all of us. Once again, if you come from a wealthy family, a well-to-do family, a family with many connections, a family who has a massive networking resource, perhaps maybe you do well in this country, contingent upon where you are. Um, you know, but overall, no, no. And one of the greatest places, unfortunately, that has promoted minority achievement is the military. I give them a thumbs up for that. That's definitely a plus. And government. So you hear Rush Limbaugh, I like to call him Rusty Limburger, the fat bastard, um, who's always talking about lazy black people and other stuff, uh, negative and detrimental and accusatory. I could go on and on in regards to black people. Setting back, sucking on his cigars, and you'd have to see what George Carlin calls this big brown cigar. Those of you who are Carlin fans, and I am, you know what that is. Anyway, this big fat bastard who's a multimillionaire who says that, well, if poor children are hungry, and I'm sure he's referring to poor children of color, then they can go eat out of a dumpster. Well, why don't they just go to the fridge? It's, it's amazing. It's amazing. Um, this is turning into a rant, but basically that's what it is. You know, this second half is really what it is. It's to show you that there are people of color in this country who affirmative action hasn't done a damn thing for them. And affirmative action hasn't gotten me into college. I got myself into college. Affirmative action has not gotten me any great jobs. Once again, I've only earned $15,000 the most in my life, and I had to work 2 jobs for that. My last job, and working over 9 years, when I did earn my bachelor's degree, was I promoted? No, I was in the same position that I was and I had been for over 7 years. So what I have noticed is that in the Pacific Northwest area where I live, when I peruse a lot of websites, that there are, in my area in particularly, an overwhelming amount of women, particularly white women, whose academic backgrounds are limited to a high school diploma only, and yet they're in management positions or executive management positions, which I find to be astounding. Because the usual argument is that you have to have not only the experience but an academic background to sustain being promoted to a position of such. Yet that's obviously not the case. So how does one justify that? I don't know. I don't know. I know that this society that we live in the United States of America, is still extremely racist, and one could argue, I'm sure to a degree, that it's becoming sexist. And it's a class-driven society, and I think that's in the future that might be the predominant discriminatory aspect of American societies, that is class-driven. No longer so-called race-driven, but class-driven. Well, this is the Erudite Brother. I'm out. I love all of my subscribers and you guys that are listening to this little broadcast of mine. Thank you for coming to my channel. Please subscribe. And it's not my intent to offend anyone. It's my intent to just be honest and give the truth um, that I've experienced in my life. And one can say it's from my perspective. However, once again, do the research. Um, do the research and come to your own conclusions. Um, I've come to my own conclusions, and they're most definitely counter to what society says is the truth regarding affirmative action. And that was the topic. That was and is the topic of this video. Uh, once again, just the erudite brother. I'm out.